going to continue this week looking at questioning strategies. Last week we looked at these question cards. I wonder who, I wonder where, I wonder when. We looked at using these cards in a small group setting to help students ask questions before, during, and after reading. This week what we're going to look at is how can we take this idea and give it to students as an assignment and have them work at their seats and then come to group with questions that they've posed and some discussion whether the questions were answered or not answered. So this is your download this week. It is a paper that has 3 columns. The middle column says my questions. So you'll notice the post-its in the middle. Students have post-its, and before, during, or after the reading, they ask themselves questions, and they put it on a post-it, and they put their post-it right in that center column. These are all my questions. As they read now, they take these questions, they take their post-its, and they move them over here because this says answer questions. They were answered. This side says my questions were not answered. So they would move them here if their questions were not answered. And so they come to group now, and we can talk about their questions. Why were their questions answered? How were their questions answered? And we also talk about the quality of their questions. For example, this time of year we have a lot of books available that deal with the fall and leaves and Halloween. And one of my students was reading a book and asking questions. And his questions kept asking about the candy that the students or the children in the book were getting. I wonder if they're Reese's peanut butter cups. I wonder what kind of candy they got. I wonder if they're going to be able to eat all the candy when they get home. It's all about the candy. So he did this piece, and all of his questions were in the middle. As he read, by the end of the book, all of his questions were on this side, which say, my questions were not answered. Then we looked at those questions. Were they important questions? Were they questions that would really make a difference in terms of understanding and having a depth of knowledge in terms of what they were reading? And the child actually said to me, I don't think they were good questions because it doesn't matter what kind of candy they had. And that was a celebration. We were like, yay! He understands that the kinds of questions you're asking really make a difference in terms of your comprehension as you read. So it's taking the questions now from the head, putting them on post-its, and now having them turn it in so we can see as the teachers what kinds of questions they're asking, and it's also helping the students to see how many of my questions are truly answered versus not answered. Let's look at these examples now. We are working with Hubert's Hair-Raising Adventure. It's a story about a lion whose mane gets burned off, and so all the animals are now trying to help him. His friends were amazed, and they had to confess that they'd never expected 1 ounce of success. Please tell us, they said, how on earth did you do it? And old Trick said the elephant, nothing to it. Come on, Herbert, he said, soak your paws in the tears and rub them on your head everywhere but your ears. And then he added, when this was complete, you'd better relax and get comfortably seated. So one of the things that they decided to do was that the elephant was going to get crocodile tears and make a potion, and that Hubert would rub it on his head. So this says, I wonder if it will work. And the second post-it says, I wonder when his hair will start to grow. So there he is, the next page, he's just waiting. So my question has not been answered yet. We then go to the next page. He's continuing to wait. His answer has not been, the question has not been answered yet. We then go to this page, and it says, they watched and they waited till way after 9, and still nothing happened, not even a sign. At last they went sleepy, and pretty soon there was no one to watch but a big yellow moon. And with no one to question and no one to doubt, Hubert's bald head was beginning to sprout. It grew very thick and it grew very fast. And before even more than 10 seconds had passed, the elegant mane was completely restored, while its owner, Hubert, slept soundly and snored. So now the child said, I wonder if it will work. Yes, it worked. Goes over here, and he puts the page where it worked. I wonder when his hair will start to grow. Yes, I know, it was well after 9. It was in the middle of the night because everybody was sleeping. It goes right here. The next question says, I wonder if it will keep on growing. I don't know. It doesn't say that yet. Another question he also says here is, I wonder if he is still vain. That's a question that maybe we'll learn by the end of the story. So to wrap up, what we would like to do is to know what our students are thinking as they're reading. Because the more we can understand what's going on in their head, the more we're going to be able to help them with these questioning strategies. So before, during, and after, as students are reading, they post it in the middle, and then as they read, they're reading for a purpose to see whether their questions are answered, either explicitly or through drawing conclusions. Thank you.